Hi guys and welcome to Motorskati. So as I mentioned the last time, this video is all about the build plan for KITT. So I'm going to go about, I have a build plan of 22 points on how I want to proceed to restore and convert my Firebird into KITT. So let's start at that very beginning of the beginning, the foundation, the basic maintenance. So all about oil change, oil filter change, air filter. The fuel pump also in the tank will be changed with the little sock at the end, the fuel filter, the spark plugs obviously, and the coolant, because at closer inspection you will see that I didn't really check the coolant when I bought the car and it was long overdue. Part 2, gutting the interior. Obviously KITT had a different color and different style seat interior as my car. My car is all grey as I bought it. So I'm going to have to take out the seats, the door panel, the plastic trim, the spare wheels and the tools, the seat belt, the center console, and also the carpet on the flooring. The upholstery. So obviously after everything is out of the interior, we'll have to either get new seats or redo the existing seats to match KITT's. Well, KITT's either match how KITT looked like or do some custom upholstery and door panels, headliner, and also the sun visors. Removing all the body panels. KITT had a very distinctive front, so the original front will have to come off. As goes also for the rear bumper cover, with the one of the 1990 model year. It's different than the early third generation rear bumper that KITT had. That means that goes also for the fenders. Mine are the closed fenders as it is the base model, but they will have to get off to be fixed also, and also either put new Trans Am fenders with the air vent opening in, or custom change the existing fenders. And obviously also the hood. The one it's on is the base flat hood. KITT had the hood scoop, the rear mirror intake. What else is then? Next point is sourcing the parts. That's a really important part of the entire project. Be it for like a Night Rider KITT project or any project you have. Like I am keeping track of the time I put into working on KITT myself, but I have never really kept track on the time I'm putting in looking at parts, sourcing parts, like where do I get all the interior, where do I get all the mechanical stuff, all the electronic stuff, where I get the kits, the Night Rider specific parts. Obviously I've already put a lot of time into this before I started the project, so that project actually started, technically it started way before I actually got the car. But anyway, like sourcing all this, the mechanical body parts, the rear bumper, the hood, the fenders, the rear spoiler, the interior parts, the taillight, the typical 1982 to 84 Trans Am taillights, the rims, yes, the TurboCast rims, 15-inch scanner with the scanner light KITT had, some spare keys also. Apparently you can still get new keys, ignition keys, and then we'll have a look also at the dashboard. But the dashboard, this I can say already now, is something that will come along at a later stage. For now I will do the entire car without the KITT specific electronics. Suspension and brakes. Back to the foundations, doing all the brakes, so the rotors, the drums, the calipers, the brake lines, all this assembling the entire suspension, sanding all the elements, all the metal parts down, and getting new bushings and all the rubber elements that are in it, and repainting all the metal parts of the suspension, getting new like sway bar bushings and end links, new control arm bushings, all the wheel bearings, like for the front wheels and the axle shafts and the seals, shock absorbers of course, and struts in the front. Bodywork and paint. That's a really big part that unfortunately, due to my lack of equipment and skills, and yeah, basically that is, I will have to have someone else do. I will go into all the details of all the variations, like what bodywork has to be done on my kit, on my car, and how I go about it, how all like several attempts I've made to fix them myself, or the possibilities you have. Either go cheap way or go the full professional, the right way basically to do this, the expensive way, but also the right way. Look at what color I want to paint it. Obviously it has to be black, but what black? Should it get painted? Should KITT get painted, or could I simply wrap it? Why not? I'll have a look at that also. And go through the entire underbody protection section as well. Next point, painting the interior plastics and putting the carpet on those interior plastics. So there's a couple of things you can handle this. Either you take the existing plastics of your car out, like mine are grey, and you paint them, or the other way, the other possibility is obviously to get proper original tan color plastics. So we'll have a look at that and how I will go about that. Then the wheels, obviously getting the wheels and preparing and painting the rims, also getting the hubcaps, the specific hubcaps for those 15-inch wheels. Yeah, and getting new tires. What tires should you get for your KITT replica? Are you going to go show car kit, or you want to drive it and you want to have the best tire to drive it? More oil and seals. Yeah, what do we have here? Engine oil and pan fix and paint. So obviously you've seen maybe briefly now that my engine oil pan is a bit bent, so getting all of that done, all the rear main seal, the engine oil pan gasket, engine oil pan gasket, the transmission oil pan gasket with a new filter, new oil, and the differential oil, which also will need to be changed, and put a new gasket on the lid. Next are the electrical challenges. Obviously my car will have to be, well, I want it to be road legal, so it will not completely be as in the show, since KITT didn't have indicators in the front, as to speak, as the original indicators in the front. The running lights were, well, visible in the first season, but covered up in the second season. Now I'm getting a second season front nose, so hey, they're kind of covered up. And how I'll go about this, because we'll also have to install daytime running lights in Switzerland. Now you have to either like drive during the daytime with the headlights on, or if you don't, you have to have daytime running lights in the front. So we'll go about those different options and what I'm going to have to, what I will decide on. The fog lights, obviously mine didn't have fog lights as to begin with. How to install fog lights, how to install fog lights as such, or just install them the proper way, the factory way. Taillight, yeah, do the Trans Am wiring with the combination of brake light and indicator light. How to wire the scanner, how to get the radio to work properly with an auxiliary import and power import for accessories. Metalware Manufacturing, obviously with the front being a specific front, I'll have to have kind of specific custom-made brackets for the fog lights and for the daytime running lights and the scanner and all of that front section behind the bumper. That's one whole chapter in itself. Next part are the painting all the engine bay and the various parts. That's something that any wrapping from the outside or paint shop doesn't usually do, or in my experience doesn't do. Like, it's something I'm going to do myself, because I don't want the paint shop to take all the engine out and the part and all the hose and everything that goes with it. So that's something I'm going to do myself. Next are the carpet replacement. So on paper it looks pretty simple, just to get the old carpet out, as the interior is already gutted, and put the new carpet in, but you always need to do some trimming and cut it. So get the center console removed, get the carpet, the old carpet removed, put some sound deadening all over the car or on specific parts of the interior to do its job. Like, what sound deadening am I going to use, where am I going to put it, install new carpets, and then also the 82 style shifter knob. And since we're there in the interior, let's go over to loudspeakers and wires. I'll have to upgrade. Obviously I want to, like, the speakers are still working, but I really want to upgrade the sound system of my car that is from the 1980s, late 1980s. Following point, the weather stripping. So all the seals from the T-top, the door weather stripping. Well, that's pretty much it basically. And see whether we have to change any other weather stripping in the around the rear hatch or around the what is it called, the windshield. Fixing the odometer is one point also. Like my odometer, having driven it already a couple hundred kilometers, I noticed that sometimes in the beginning when I start, the odometer, like the speedometer always works, but the odometer, it takes maybe a kilometer or two to click in. I can hear it clicking within the dashboard, and then it's sort of like it doesn't click in properly. So we'll have to open that up and get that sorted also. Go ahead and reinstall the interior, so the seat belts, all the plastics, basically do a reverse procedure from the gutting the interior, all the door panels. Also install a fire extinguisher, because bear in mind, this is a car that I will have, a non-professional will have restored from bumper to bumper, so there better be a good fire extinguisher in the car if I don't want the whole thing to burn down in case I do something wrong I hadn't really thought of or really known that could be causing a fire at some point. So yeah, fire extinguisher has to get in. Side moldings. Side moldings is something that a lot of guys, gals who make a KITT replica don't put on, because they take the original side molding off. Like if you have a later model like 86 to 92 Firebird, you'll have different side moldings on the doors, trims, than on the ones that KITT had, like the early 82 to 84 was KITT, and those side moldings were put on the car, I believe, until 85. There were different types. There were the factory side moldings and the more sophisticated looking combination of like metal and rubber that were I believe to be a dealer option, that were riveted on the cars later. So I'll have to look into those. I'll make I don't have them yet, and I'll make a specific chapter about those side moldings if you want to be screen accurate about your KITT replica. Alright, chapter 20, if I can call it a chapter, is simply just reload the AC system and various different points I might have to check out by a professional garage. The entire homologation process, like, which will probably not concern most of you viewers unless you're living in Switzerland. That's kind of can be a pain. Like the entire front bumper is not factory, so anything that's not factory original, you cannot just put on the car and drive it without any certification in general. You have to have it certified or written into your car document. So you will have either to go make a test at a certified institution that can prove that there is no there wouldn't be any any issues or any higher issues than the original bumper for pedestrians in case of a collision, etc, etc, etc. So I'll have to get through that, and all has to be street legal in terms of how I position the fog lights, how I position the turn signals, so the visibility from the various angles. Last but not least, chapter 22, the leftover box. So this is for everything I've forgotten or that I don't know yet that I will have to do during the process. Alright guys, that's it for now. I hope this gave you a taste of what this project is all about and the different stages we're going to go through. And I'll also hope it's kind of exciting, like igniting a spark for you to follow this project with me, or maybe give me some insights about how I can go about those things that I've not already done, and maybe able to do better, give you some tips. So that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, also like say hello maybe on my Facebook page if you want. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me there. And next video obviously will be about the start with the basic maintenance. We'll go about all of the all of those things to get the car properly on the road again. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.